knew Elena Vance as the ice queen of the logistics industry. Born into the gilded cage of the Vance dynasty, she had everything: private jets, a skyscraper with her name on it, and a wardrobe worth millions. But she also had a void. Her parents, obsessed with their legacy, saw her as a vessel for the next generation, strictly forbidding her unnatural inclinations.
Women will only love your bank account, Elena, her mother would hiss. Don't be a fool.
Then came the collapse. Chronic exhaustion and a severe respiratory infection forced the ice queen into a bed in her sprawling mansion. Her parents, ever clinical, hired a private nurse, Maria, a sharp-witted Filipina with eyes that seemed to see through Elena's expensive silk pajamas. The first week was a battle. Elena was a difficult patient, snapping at Maria whenever the pain flared. One rainy evening, after Elena threw a glass of water across the room in a fit of frustration, she broke. "I'm going to die in this gold-plated coffin," Elena sobbed. "I've traveled the world and I've seen nothing. I have everything, and I have no one." Maria didn't flinch. She picked up the shards of glass and sat on the edge of the bed. "You think you're the only one who has been a prisoner, Miss Vance." Maria shared her own story, the reality of a shack in the Philippines, the hunger that felt like a permanent knot in her stomach, and the aunts who looked at her like she was dirt. She spoke of her Lola grandmother, who raised a brood of abandoned cousins on rice, salt, and sheerwill. "I studied nursing while working 2 jobs, Maria said softly. "I became a robot to survive. My Lola died before I could buy her a proper bed. You feel like you haven't lived. I feel like I've lived 3 lives, and none of them were for me." Elena looked at Maria's calloused but gentle hands. "Your life, it makes my drama look like a paper cut. You're so much stronger than I am." The intimacy of healing. As Elena's health improved, the professional boundaries began to blur. The intimacy wasn't just physical, it was in the quiet moments between the world's noise. One afternoon, the sun was setting, casting a warm amber glow over Elena's bedroom. Maria was applying a cooling lotion to Elena's shoulders to soothe a fever rash. As Maria's fingers worked in slow, rhythmic circles, Elena's breath hitched. She turned slightly, catching Maria's gaze. The air became heavy, thick with the scent of jasmine and the unspoken. Maria didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned in, her thumb grazing Elena's jawline. "You aren't just a bank account to me, Elena," Maria whispered, her voice a low vibration. Elena reached up, trembling, and tucked a loose strand of hair behind Maria's ear. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like a CEO or an heiress. She felt seen. When their lips finally met, it wasn't a frantic explosion, but a slow, desperate anchoring, 2 lonely souls finally finding a home. The bubble burst when a maid caught them sharing a lingering kiss in the library. The confrontation with her parents was cold and surgical. Her father threatened to disinherit her. Her mother wept about the shame. Elena stood her ground, her voice like steel. "You want a legacy. You want grandchildren. Fine. Science is advanced. I can give you heirs. But I will not give you my soul. I have everything, and yet I was dying of thirst until she gave me a drink. I need love to feel alive. If you take the money, take it. I'd rather eat rice and eggs with her than feast on gold with you." Stunned by her defiance, her parents retreated into a stony silence. They didn't disown her, but they didn't acknowledge Maria either. Elena and Maria didn't wait for permission. They traveled to the Philippines, where Elena traded her designer heels for flip-flops. They rowed Banca's boats through the turquoise waters of Palawan and ate sinigang and adobo in the small village where Maria grew up. Elena realized that rich had nothing to do with a bank balance. Years later, when her father lay on his deathbed, the silence finally broke. He looked at Maria, who had been helping the hospital staff with his care out of pure kindness, and then at his daughter. "I wasted so much time," he wheezed, clutching Elena's hand. "If I had accepted her sooner, I would have seen you this happy for years. I'm sorry." A few years after her father's passing, the Vance mansion was no longer a silent museum. It was filled with the sounds of a toddler's laughter. Their daughter, a beautiful mix of both their spirits, was the pride of her grandmother, who had finally softened. Elena sat on the couch, watching Maria teach their daughter a Tagalog nursery rhyme. She realized her mother was wrong all those years ago. Maria didn't want her money. Maria had given her the only thing money could never buy: a life worth living. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my GL stories, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps me continue creating more GL videos for you.